I'm going to read my Overreaching PC, a syndicated column by Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell was born in 1930. My Overreaching PC was first published in Forbes magazine on February 9th, 1999. This material is great to be listened to by children. Although I have been using a personal computer for less than a decade, I still have seen several generations of PCs come and go. My first PC back in 1991 was an 8088 laptop with 20 megabytes of hard disk space. Today you couldn't even install an operating system with that. My wife was more advanced than I was at that point. She had a 286 computer. I could tell that everything worked faster on her machine. Eventually, I leapfrogged up to a 386 desktop computer, which seemed incredibly fast. Just when I thought that technology had reached its limit, the 486 computer came out, and I got a desktop and then a laptop. Programs that took half an hour to install before could now be installed in 10 minutes. When I turned on the computer, Windows 3.1 flashed onto the screen immediately. When I used my word processing program, WordPerfect 5.1 for DOS, its timed backups took place so fast that you could barely see the "please wait" notice before it was gone. You could keep typing right through it because you couldn't type fast enough to interfere with it. By now, I was discovering that you could do more than word processing with computers. I loved a street map program that enabled me to simply type in an address and get a map showing where that address was located. There was a corresponding highway map program that showed you how to get from one city to another. All you had to do was type in the names of the cities and it told you the rest. There was so much storage space on the hard disk that I could install street maps for a couple dozen cities in my desktop. Even on my laptop, there was enough hard disk space for a few key cities to be permanently stored. When I went to another city, I would just install that city's map for the duration of the trip. This was the high watermark of my relationship with computers. Never before had I been so satisfied. And never again. Like a mythical character in an old fable, I did not know when to leave well enough alone. I tempted the gods by trying to go too far. I bought a Pentium computer with Windows 95. Since a 486 had been so much faster than a 386 or a 286, I tried to forget that I had ever used an 8088. My expectation was that everything would also go faster and better with a Pentium. Wrong. Windows 95 took forever to boot up. My computer guru explained that this was because it had so many more programs with so many more elaborate features. Programs and features that I never used. Some of my old programs wouldn't even run anymore and had to be discarded. WordPerfect 5.1 started crashing repeatedly. I installed WordPerfect 6.1 for Windows, but found it not nearly as convenient for my purposes, nor as easy on the eyes. It too was loaded with features that I never used. After numerous tweakings of the system by my computer guru, we finally got WordPerfect 5.1 to the point where it would usually operate all right if you didn't get too fancy with it or speak unkindly to it. But now, when WordPerfect 5.1 had timed backups, the warning, "Please wait," was so slow that I actually had to wait. My old, simple, and reliable tape backup system was superseded by a new cartridge one-step backup system that could never be operated in one step if it could be operated at all. It too had a ton of new features that I did not need, but which I had to plow through in order to use the features that I did need. Heaven help me if I had to restore something. The new street map program was now so elaborate that my printer did not have enough memory to print the maps, even after I finally figured out how to navigate through all the complications introduced by sweeping new arrays of features. However, after I bought a new and more expensive printer, things were almost as good as they had been when I had a 486 computer. But the new highway map program, now on CD-ROM, was so complicated that I simply stopped using it and just carried AAA paper maps with me instead. Sadly, I realized that I had gone a PC too far. When I bought a Pentium, I gave my old 486 to a friend. I suppose it would be bad form to ask for it back. Dr. Thomas Sowell is an economist and a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution in Stanford, California. Forbes, February 8, 1999.